God, what a time for a black man to be alive. Living in the struggle while trying to keep our composure. Killing each other while trying to look for that exposure. We all just wanna make it, we should do it as a team. Build each other up and they can't even say a thing. Me and all my brothers just stuck together like glue. It's us against the world and you know what we finna do. Woo! Pop a bottle, we in here for celebration. We just wanna be the leaders that's pushing the generation. Take a seat and find your zone for the topic of conversation. Find a way for a positive revelation. Now this really ain't the time to be thinking about yourself, cause we just a bunch of hustlers that's trying to give out some help. We turn the cubs into lions inside of the den. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just wanna win. Hey.
Boy Daniel Lyons and Evans, and you are alive inside the den, and the next episode starts now. It is a pleasure to be with you all. This is a live, unrehearsed, unscripted show. To my left, I have a blast from the past. Y'all know him from last season. This is Tommy Hicks, TJ, my assistant and real good friend of mine. And to my immediate left here, I have a real good friend and brother, Mr. Patrick. We're going to be just sitting here vibing up. We've been talking already a little bit, and we're just chopping it up. This is the first time that we actually done this show in a little more intimate setting. This is my man cave, so this is the real den right here, where me and my guys just come in and sit down and chill out and talk, man. And, we had some pretty good conversation going earlier, and one of the things we was talking about earlier, man, was execution.
Yes, sir.
And just talking about being a man of your word, and some of the things you were saying. What were you talking about in terms of right now, the execution?
Right. So as a not old but older individual, I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I feel like what you say holds more weight than you think it actually does. You know what I mean? Like if you tell somebody as an older individual, and I'm speaking, like I said, I'm older, so 25, 26 up. When you say, "Hey man, I'm interested in this, that, and the third. We should do this." Mm-hmm. That person takes your word and actually makes a plan and a schedule for it. Your value is more. Your value is a lot more than what you think it is after you've already agreed to do something.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, back in the day, man, our fathers and grandfathers would always tell their sons coming up, you get to become a teenager, that what? Your word is your bond. That's what they always tell you. Mm-hmm. That was the wisdom that grandfathers gave their sons and that fathers gave their sons. And now we're in a funny place, man, where the word don't even mean nothing anymore, man. Because they just say they come up with all these empty promises, man, and the joker will say anything just to, I guess, get you out of his face or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even, and I wouldn't even, we ain't even gotta go to that extreme. We can go to the sense of saying, when men are on the internet and they're talking about things, after they say that, it could be completely in fun, but you're trolling somebody. You making fun. You egging on this incident instead of dealing with it. I feel like that's poor execution, because you're supposed to be on a platform or just in life, you're supposed to be moving with a purpose. So your execution should be top tier, and if it's not top tier, you should be able to acknowledge the fact that it's not top tier and work on becoming top tier with your execution. If you ever wanted to do something in your life, how are you gonna get it done? Unless you execute it. That's the only way. That's the only way something will ever be achieved in your life. And what I realized the problem with me was, I would say, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, but I never did proper execution. I never took the time for each and everything that I wanted to do. I never actually sat down and studied what I wanted to do. I've always felt that since I've been pretty, pretty competent, pretty talented in anything that I do, I might as well just jump right in. And because of that, I've had horrible execution and ended up 3 steps further back than when I started.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on execution? I mean, this guy here, just so y'all know, was a Marine, and once you're a Marine, always a Marine. So we have that bond
Mhm.
as a Marine. What are your thoughts on the topic, brother?
Pretty much like what you're saying. And I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I know I came to a point myself when it comes to execution. I started thinking to myself, actions speak louder than words.
Mhm.
I stopped even speaking on things I'm going to do, and I'll just sit down myself. I keep an order in my room. Every month or so, I'll go through, I write new plans and new little small, like little steps to go towards.
Mhm.
Keep to myself, working on my own, and pretty much that's how I work on my execution and like make sure I get done instead of, like I said, like a lot of guys now they're just talking and saying things and not even getting things done.
And like I said, that was me.
How did the military help, make you more a man of your word than not?
Pretty much military, you gotta be pretty much spot on. Like whatever you're saying is gotta be there. I mean, it's embedded in us as Marines, so.
And I remember, man, when I was in the Marine Corps and just doing certain things, man. Sometimes in your mind, you kind of think that you can do more than what you can actually do. And I look at it in my physical ability. If I can physically do it, then I'll agree to it. But if it's something I can't physically do, then I won't agree to it. And then at that point, you always have to deal with the unknown and the unexpected. If I tell you I'm going to do something on the first, guaranteed, no problem, I can only be accountable for what I can control. When it comes to the uncontrollables, you can still hold me to my word, but understand that something happened that was out of my control. If I can control the variant, then I can do it. So, but it ain't even that part of what the uncontrollable. It's just that, I said this before a couple of shows ago, and I even said it, to my team in a motivational way that you have to be careful who you allow to get some of your time, because people are becoming experts at wasting your time. People are becoming experts of just false promises. You know what I mean? Like if you have somebody who set an appointment with you to do something, and then you know good and well that, okay, are you 100% sure? Yeah, I got it. And then you like not even a call, not even a text, not even like just totally disregard your time. Like, and if you was dependent on that person to come through for you, you'd be dead right now.
If it was a yes,
in that show You Want to Be a Millionaire, when you get that one phone call, that one lifeline,
I
call.
got 30 seconds, help me out.
Man.
This is the question.
Can't
Please
be nobody
don't
answer the
fold.
phone. Nobody answer the phone. This joker had you out there dead, high and dry, man. And so just that lack of execution, man, it really brings about just a whole variant of who you are as a man. Like if you didn't have a credit report, if you didn't have a credit score, because he worked with me, in my credit business, right? Before they had a credit score, your credit was your word, right?
Yeah.
This joker said he gonna pay me back on the first, and he ain't pay me on the first. His credit shot with me. I can't believe nothing he said. You know what I mean?
It's logical though. 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah.
And people judge you based off your credit report, because your credit report says whether or not you keep your word or not.
In the corporate world, yep.
In the corporate world, yeah.
And then in the real world, in reality, or in our
It's
everyday,
the opposite.
exactly, your
word.
actual actions
Yeah.
shows what your word is worth.
Yeah, you gotta go deeper. Like I say, the action speaks louder than words. So if you just saying something is different than actually making it happen. So when I'm in competitions with certain things, man, I've always been a competitive guy. Always been having a competitive spirit. But you get to a point where you get tired of talking. You just have to start just showing the action. Like, let me just show you what I can do. Because me talking, you probably done heard this 100 times before.
Ain't no point to waste me or yours saying the same thing.
That you'd already heard. When you talking to a joker who say they need help or something, and they come to you with these old sob stories, you like, yeah, I really need this money, man, please, my family, you know what? Like, man, look, don't be crying in front of my family. I don't Get the tears, bro. You done probably done this to 100 people already,
It's
man.
not working over
They
here.
ain't working on here. Show me what you talking about. Don't be crying and drum. I don't get all that, man.
And see, this is the that's a great point because it leads into another transition when it comes to interacting with people younger than us, man. When and it's sad because I don't want to say this. Like I feel like we are all around the same age, right? We all around the same age.
Some of us.
No, you around the same age too. We still in that.
Yeah.
We're in that in that period. In that period in time, if something is said or if something has happened and it didn't fall through, you had repercussions to pay.
Yes.
Especially with mom and pops, or especially with moms, or especially with pop, you had repercussions to pay. Period, point blank. So you were taught at an early age, if you say you're gonna do something, do it. And if you don't, excuse my language, I'm gonna whoop your ass. That's what it was laid out on the line. And now it's a lot of you say something, you don't do it, and then you have a slew of excuses to make what you said that didn't happen seem okay that it didn't happen.
And you know what? And that right there irritates me. It irritates the excuses part, man.
I had to learn it the hard way.
The excuses.
It's kind of like when you said too, like it's with our age. It's kind of like if you think about too, like with the newer generation, you think about like their parents didn't bring them up like the way we were brought up.
No.
It was put into you.
Because the system got involved in the new millennials, and the system said that if your parents beat you, you can lock them up for child abuse, and that took the power out of the parents' hand. And so now these new millennials, they're being raised on social media to think that they don't have to be accountable for anything.
I was told if you try to call 911, I'm gonna make you dial 191.
Man, I was told that you gotta get to the phone first. During dialing 911, you gotta make it to the phone.
Hold on, wait. Matter of fact, go ahead and call them. When they get there, I'm gonna beat their ass too.
Man, look.
Come on, man.
I remember I was
look.
I remember I was about 6, 7 years old. We was living across the street from my best friend named Michael Myers. White boy named Michael Myers was my best friend coming up in elementary, right?
I don't think that's a good look.
Man, look. I remember one day, so we had the burglar bars on the door in my neighborhood, burglar bars. And I remember one day, my mom always give us a little spiel because, technically, she wasn't supposed to leave us at home by herself. But if you grew up in a black household, you already know.
At home by yourself with your
Y'all watch each other. Ain't no dirty babysitter. Y'all watch each other. And I bet not get a call from nobody saying y'all done anything. My mama gave me that speech, said, look, don't be playing on my phone while I'm gone. Do not touch this phone. I don't care if the phone rings 100 times. And sometimes she would call just to see if we would answer the doggone phone. When you answer my phone? I couldn't answer the phone. I'm calling and texting you. She would test us by calling the phone, right?
Did I say don't pick up that? Wait,
look, so my buddy across the street came across the house who was playing through the burglar bars. Right? Hey man, you know that? And in some kind of way, the burglar bars popped open. I don't know how it did it, but he got the burglar bars open on accident. So then me and my brother, we like, oh man, blah, blah. So my brother went and grabbed the phone. I dialed the 9. He dialed the 111. And when they answered the phone, he was scared, he hung the phone up. Well, they got the tracer on the phone.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Tracer on the phone. So the police called when they couldn't get a response, could be like, can't answer the phone, right? They said, you didn't out to the house, man. Police came. Man, look. I got beat so bad for that incident. And I was like, look, I just dialed the 9. The 9 is what got you in the trouble. 911. Man. Oh, but man. Because of the repercussions, after that day, nope. Nope. I ain't touching that phone, bro. I don't give a goddamn what you say. I'm not touching that phone.
Let me ask y'all this question real quick, because this just came into mind because of the situation with mom and pop. As a man, do you feel that bullying or no? I'm gonna keep it real. Bullying is necessary. I'm gonna start with that.
Let me see, as in like what kind of situation?
Say you go to school. This you in fifth grade, right? You go to school. You in fifth grade, and I'll use me as an example. And me, I'm frail. I'm dark skinned. I got Arthur glasses, and I wear suspenders. You already know. As soon as I walk into that, as soon as I step foot on those school grounds, what's going to happen with all the other boys? Get your Urkel ass, your Arthur wannabe. So I feel like it's character building, to be honest.
It is. If you raise some boys, like, you know, you'll get boys, he probably was like, what you gonna do about it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But see, and that's the thing. So back in the day, bullying was like a part of life. You know what I'm saying? You faced your bully, and that was like your right to manhood. I finally faced my bully, and now I'm a man.
Yup.
But today, man, bullying will cause kids to commit suicide.
I never, and I still don't understand that. Not to say that that's not a serious thing, because it really is. But and now in this day and age, instead of it being face to face or I'm bullying you because your feet too big, I'm just telling you you look weird over the internet.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah, so that's a whole different story though. I mean, it's different like when they right there in your face. 'Cause with me, I was a small kid, I always grown up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, my older sister was 12 years older than me, so it was like, my sister told me if I went to school and I was fighting with somebody and I got beat, I was getting beat again when I got home.
Yeah, you got to face the fight.
Hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. Don't lose no fight when you walk out this door.
But it's like, I was bullied, man. And I was bullied. So my dad wasn't preaching. Oh, man. My dad taught us to turn the other cheek. This is the most funny, hilarious story. I've told this story 100 times at church. So I was getting bullied by a guy. And I remember coming out of the field, coming out of the gymnasium, and this bully confronted me, right? And I don't know why he didn't like me. I don't know. But the summer gun hit me in my left jaw. Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, turn the other cheek. My dad told me, turn the other cheek. So he gave me instructions, but he didn't tell me why. Look, he told me what to do, but he didn't tell me why to do it. So when he popped me in my left jaw, I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to be like Christ. I'm trying to be like Jesus. What would Jesus do? Turn the other cheek. And I turned the other cheek, and it's something hit me in my other goddamn jaw. I'm sitting there, and I done got hit in both of my goddamn jaws.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
I really want to fight this kid, but my daddy's saying if I fight him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I can't dishonor my daddy's name, so I didn't fight this guy. And so I walked away from it, and people look at me like, oh, you just got beat up, you just got punked. But I'm like, man, look, it's not that I could fight. I was told not to fight. At this point, I had started lifting weights in 7th grade. You know what I mean? So I had started coming to my own. I was an ugly duckling in elementary.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I got that growth spurt, when I got that 7th grade summertime growth spurt, I came back to school looking like Arnold, like swole. And so people respected me, but when they saw me get hit in both of my cheeks, they was like, oh man, you just got beat up. I'm like, I ain't get beat up. I ain't even put up a fight.
Hey, both of them.
So look, I came home crying to my daddy like, man, I said, what is going on? He's like, look, man, I'm getting my tail handed to me at school because you telling me to turn the other cheek. What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then he had to break it down to me. I'm like, well,
You should have said that from the beginning.
the very next time I was confronted with that same bully, I beat the...
Hey man, I feel like if I didn't get bullied, I feel like I wouldn't be at the point of where I'm at, man. I would still be that closet kid.
You see, this guy here is so... He's on the threshold between old school and new school.
Yeah.
So when he say, if I didn't get bullied, I wouldn't.
Hey, but it's real though. Like, if because it brought things that I thought were okay, were not okay by popular society. Come on, I'm. Let's use another one. 6th, 7th grade, right? At this point, as a boy, you start to understand that, hey, these women, they be looking good.
Yeah. You said 6, 7, 6.
Yeah, 6th, 7th grade.
That's about when it happened for me.
So you approach, and if you're not somebody who's been the wild rambunctious kid, you're one of those soft-spoken. Well, I just wanna say you're really pretty. I hope one day we can go to the dance. Maybe you can, if you shut your ass up, and then a random person come in and take the girl you just trying to approach. Hey man, that it's the harsh realities on life. If you do not act with conviction or execution, you gonna get trampled over every time.
But here's the thing, though. Everything everything that we go through as our in our adolescence time prepares us for when we're adults. Think about
Yes,
that
sir.
think about that one bully that bullied you until you were able to stand up for yourself. Now think about the bully that you have in your adult life, on your job or whatever it is that won't let you rest until you stand up for yourself. So if you punk out when you was a kid and you never learned how to face your fears, then you're gonna be punking out all your life as a man. Like, I've never been able to successfully face a bully. They have adult bullies. People on your job who just bully you, and people in your life that just bully you, and you don't have.
We don't even gotta say bullying because it may be too sensitive of a word. We can say confrontation. You haven't even learned how to deal with some of the most detrimental confrontations in your adolescence. It's not going to play out good as an adult. It's not. You gotta understand that standing up it's also a form of execution because you're standing for what you said. I ain't gonna let nobody punk me. I ain't gonna let nobody talk down to me. I ain't gonna let nobody do this. And then when you're approached with it, do you stand on that? Do you execute what you just said you wasn't gonna let happen? Or do you fold and then say, well, it's alright. It was raining outside. My hands were slippery. I couldn't, I just couldn't figure it out. No, you can't do that. You can't. If you do that, then you will literally make an excuse all the way into adulthood.
And then the bullies change. It goes from that
Ooh,
bully.
yes,
it
sir.
goes from that bully in grade school that taking your lunch money and making you eat dirt to now you get bullied by the police, you get bullied by the government, you get bullied by all the people that says that, you know, because you have a history of not fighting back, we're gonna keep bullying because we know you ain't gonna fight back.
Now, honestly, once you stand up to that bully, you might end up becoming facts. I became best friends when I was younger. I became super cool with somebody who used to bully me.
Really?
After I whooped his ass, yes.
Wow.
Because
I ain't become best friend with my bully, but I smashed him and you know what I'm
it
saying?
was understood respect.
Yes.
And because he understood and respected me, because I finally stood up for myself. He got to find out, oh, you a cool dude. Oh, you like playing chess? I'm not bullying niggas, but I play chess too.
Yeah.
So it's the trials and tribulations of being a young adolescent boy.
But here's the wisdom behind that. If you don't face your bullies as a child, when you become a man, how you gonna tell your son about this police officer who just bullied you? And he is dead wrong for what he's doing, but because you ain't never learned how to face your bullies, you let this guy disrespect you and you let him bully you in front of your whole family. What kind of respect you have after that? That you can't never diss for me because you didn't say to that man that was goddamn bullying you.
Hey, I'm gonna call him back. I'm gonna call him
I'm gonna call
back.
that police officer that had you scared last week. You didn't say that to him. Why you always fussing at me? You ain't fussing at me out there in the streets.
it leads to a different outcome than if you did. It really does. It really does. Every decision you made as a child, you get to make that same decision as an adult if you really pay attention. It'll come in a different light. It'll come in a different situation. But the decision you gotta make will be almost exactly the same decision you had to make when you were younger.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually kind of crazy. I didn't get bullied too much when I was younger. I was kind of wide open, so it was like I didn't really have too many problems. But then when I started getting older, and then after I was in the Marine Corps, I started doing the map and going through the map, and they're teaching you got to humble yourself and everything else. Like I had a whole different outlook on life, so I kind of back in the day, anybody say anything to me wrong, I was ready to go toward it. Got the Marine Corps doing mapping and everything. I'm actually learning more and know more. I look at the situation different. I try to de-escalate everything that I can, but then at a certain point, if it goes to a certain point, then that's the point. Now it's just
So was you ever a bully? Was you ever bully somebody else?
I think I kind of was a little bit of a bully.
Because the ones who wasn't bullied much in school, they actually become bullies, or they have bullied somebody at some point. And so, what are your thoughts on being the bully?
I look back then and I was like, oh man, I did way too much. I was a guy, I walked through the hallway and I'd be walking with my buddies. They just point somebody out, oh, I bet you want to push him or you want to do this. And it was usually
So you was a bully.
I was a little guy though.
You was a little bully.
But they would pick out like the biggest person in the hallway, like, oh, I bet you want to push him or you want to do this. I'd go start hurting right there because I had no fear. I was just like,
He was though. That's crazy. Even though the boy it's not considered bullying, but because we know you with the boys, you the smallest one.
Yeah, that's still called bullying.
That is, man.
Cause they can't touch you because they got these other goons around you. So you was actually a little book.
So we had to
you got a little person complex because you small. Little people can be bullies because they got protection. Matter of fact, your mom told me a story the other day that one of your uncle's best friends, she ended up fighting him. Yup. But the dude was like, it ain't that I'm weak, but I'm darn if I do, darn if I don't. If I fight her,
I'm gonna get beat
I'm
up
gonna
by
get beat
everybody
down
now.
fighting the girl. And if I let her win, I'm gonna get picked at, but get beat by the girl. So at this point,
It's a wash. I'm gonna lose either way.
and she was like, it wasn't that I could beat this guy, but he just knew that he had to fight my brother if he even touched me.
See, that's it.
So that's right, that's a form of bullying.
It is, because I'm gonna punk you, I'm gonna beat you down, and I'm gonna dare you to do something. Because if you do, I gotta put someone behind me.
So is there a fine
That's
line
crazy.
between bullying somebody and challenging them to be better than what they are?
Absolutely.
Where's the line being drawn?
You know what? I don't know. Now that I think about it, because if you challenge somebody, you still stepping on your toes.
it's actually though, if you challenge somebody, it is different because like you bullying them, you're just picking on them and they know it's like it's an unfair situation.
Good
And
point.
if you challenge somebody, it's pretty much man to man.
Yeah, but how about the individual that don't feel that way?
Well, I say feelings, and honestly, fuck your feelings. It's based on facts.
Honestly, that's bullying.
It is.
If they ain't like they don't feel like
If they don't think your tactics is acceptable,
Mm-hmm.
then even if you're challenging them, it can become a form of bullying. It's the mentality of the person that's being bullied.
That's still but the thing is, and that's what's crazy, bro.
Like the guy you say was bullying you, y'all became friends, right?
Mhm.
What if he told you, I want to pump you because I knew that you was better than what you are. You was better than what you was acting like. I want you to be the
You
best.
know what? That's why I said I really don't think it's a difference, because at the end of the day, you were still bullying me. You were still putting me down, pointing me out, poking me out, challenging me. Yes, it was still a challenge, be that as it may. But it made me feel uncomfortable, out of the loop. My drawers is in my crack. That's you know what I'm saying? It's still, yeah, no,
But you know, bullies create some of the coldest comedians, some of the coldest like boxers. Bullies have to create those people because they were so tired of being picked on. They went in the studio to laboratory or whatever, and they reinvented themselves. So when you come from like junior high to high school, you got that summer where you like in the gym or you like trying to, you come through next season, you like, oh, try me now. I done been in the gym for hours, and that person ends up being the All-American, the superstar, because you know he done been hurt so bad, he don't want to be hurt again, so he not being so. A bully is necessary to shape, like I say, your manhood. You know what I mean?
Yes, I feel like for men, absolutely. For women, I feel like you need tough. I feel like women need tough love, and men definitely need character building and challenging, which is a form of bullying.
And then after that, the women who've been bullied, they end up developing a ice coldness.
Yeah.
And then when they get with these men that are authority or alpha, they end up just because they've already been accustomed to being bullied, and they just like, I ain't taking no shorts, no losses, you know.
Exactly. That's why I say tough love. I say tough love from either parents, brothers, their older sister or whatever. Tough love for a woman because, I mean, they're an emotional person, and you got to make sure you're catering to their emotions so they don't become that resentful, damaged woman. I would say tough, like, I love you, but this, that, and the third. It's not cutting it out. You got to do better, or you're going to end up like this, that, and the third. And I'm only saying that because I don't want you to see. I don't want to see you. You have to have a more delicate route for them. And I feel like
trying to build a goal.
yeah, exactly. Give them knowledge, but also let them know that you messed up, or you not doing that all good. But this is what you do to get good. And it is a double standard, but I feel like it's a double standard on life.
Yeah, it is, but then that goes along with knowing who you're dealing with. You gotta know this person, know their limitation, know what they can and can't handle, because you know there's a lot of people in corporate America that's bullied by their boss, and it's not because they're just the boss might require a certain expectation out of them. He might require a certain excellence out of them, and because they haven't transformed to that person yet, they're ready to commit suicide because my boss is being too mean to me or too hard on me. And he just like, once you get promotion, you're like, you know, I know you can do it. I rode you because I know that you can do it. And I have to do all this so that you can see that this world don't owe you anything.
This world is unforgivable.
These kids that's having a hard time dealing with bullies in school and stuff, when they become adults, they got another thing coming.
We said this about I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. When and I'm only speaking from a male's perspective because I'm a man. I ain't identifying as nothing else but a man. Period, point blank. But when a lot of men are bullied, when they become grown, their lifestyle changes. They become, like you said, they become some of the coldest cats.
Or those are guys that become police officers, maybe.
See, that's the difference. That's a good point, but I think
I'm just asking, you know what I mean?
But I think it depends on the culture. The culture, because I feel like if as a person of color, when you're bullied, it's toughen up. It's toughen up to make sure this doesn't happen to you again. Culture I don't know, but it's like it's okay. I'm gonna wait till I get this. I'm gonna wait till I get that, and then I'm gonna get them back.
Yeah.
I feel like the culture plays a culture plays a major role, honestly, more than school does, in how an individual grows up. The culture that they're around on an everyday basis, which is why we have so many shooters.
Yeah.
Because of the culture they go around. It's because it's crazy to say that somebody else could be going through that exact same thing. However, they didn't select that outcome.
Yeah. And it's all about how you handle pressure, how you handle stress, how you handle being bullied, how you face adversity. All that kind of stuff goes into shaping you to what type of man you're going to be and what type of adult you're going to be, because you have to relate everything back to a time, you know, when you was a kid.
Exactly.
Like when somebody say they scared of clowns, at what point in your childhood
made you scared of those
made you
things?
scared of clowns? And so that right there is going to be, every time you see that, boom, this is what I deal with. boom, this is what I do. Even if you got a recovering addict or drug addict, you know what I'm saying? There's certain time in his life where he feels like if he's stuck or lost, he's going to resort back to the time where he was on them, and this is what I was. You know what I mean? So you have to have that mind to change and want to become better, because doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity.
And words mean things.
They do.
Everywhere.
One of the biggest lies I was taught as a kid, biggest lie ever, was sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. That was the biggest lie. You remember that? You somebody tell you that when you was a kid? Yeah. Are you kidding me? Dirt is sticks and stones, but these words, man, they break my bones.
Like a sword. They cut like a sword.
You know what's crazy though? Think about like with most, as you was growing up, between your mom and your dad, you probably listen. Like a lot of people, I know they listen more to their dad, but with me, my dad, it's from his words. His words will hurt me worse than my mama beat.
Your dad's words hurt more than your mama beat. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, look.
If my dad said my dad had a phrase that I'm gonna smoke your pork butt. That's what he said. Me and my brother, when we heard him say that, everything in me locked up. Like, oh my God.
And I'm gonna do one better too. I'm gonna hit you with the same thing. Dad didn't even have to speak. Mom would be like, I'm gonna tell you, Father. Every nerve in my body. You know what? No, whatever you need.
Please don't tell that.
Whatever you need,
I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna knock it out. It's gonna get done. I promise. No, I agree. The two words I hated to hear most. Whoa. I had to make sure. The sentence I hated, I never wanted to hear on my dad's mouth. You know, I'm disappointed in you, son. Dad.
He touched you when he said it.
But that was during a time where
Oh my gosh.
fathers had more value then. You respected your dad to a point of, it was either the wrath of God or the wrath of your father. Like, you don't want neither one of them, but let me take my chance with God, because at least God is merciful. My dad is not merciful at all. He's going to beat me to a bullet hole. God will say, I forgive. My dad ain't going to forgive. You know what I mean? So, during that time, you actually had a natural fear for your father. But what has happened now when you tell a kid, I'm going to tell daddy, and so what? I don't care. Tell him.
He ain't my dad.
I mean, like, really, like, it's a whole different ballgame now. Like,
And you know what's crazy? I love fathers being fathers to their natural children. Like, that's the most apparent thing. But I feel like if a man decides to take over another man's child, he is on a higher pedestal, bruh. And it's not because well, no, it is. It's because you decided to take the most important thing a woman could ever give a man, and it's not yours. It wasn't your gift.
Man.
It wasn't your gift at all. Nobody said, I'm gonna bless you with this. Matter of fact, here's one. See what you do with it. And you made it work. You get more. And it's crazy that even like fathers
so
are
shout
like
out
dirt.
to the stepfathers out there in the world making it happen.
Absolutely.
Without complaining, without getting respect. Don't get no father court. Shout out to the fathers out there making it happen, because the world's first stepdaddy, check this out. The world's first stepdad was Joseph. Jesus' daddy. I just taught on that at Sunday school. Joseph was engaged to Mary to be married, and she got pregnant by the Holy Spirit. He had to raise a son that wasn't his blood. But how do you think he felt about that? And how do you chastise the Son of God? How do you chastise Jesus when you know everything?
I mean, like I said, that's why I said this. To me, fathers ain't worth a damn, and then stepfathers are even not. Even look like it became a complete reverse, because like I said, we're an older generation. I remember when a woman would be thankful to have another man come into their life and
I'm talking about kissing the ground he walked on for not leaving. all the men that done left their relationship and
Man.
left their families, and this man chose to stay, he deserves the utmost respect because he chose to stay and stick it out through with you and deal with your seed that ain't his own. Man, that's a hard job.
As a man, to look a child in the face every single,
Knowing it ain't your blood.
bruh, to be 100% honest, I couldn't do it. And I'm being, as a man, I know for a fact
It's hard, bro.
there would be a breaking point. There would be a breaking point for me. Oh, dude, that's how you ain't my real dad. You know what? I'm not your real dad. Get the fuck out of my face and leave. Let's see how you survive. And I'm being 100% honest. I'm being honest. I know my limitations.
That's how you
as a
feel.
man.
You know what I mean?
I know my limitation as a man.
Some people won't never admit that. Won't never admit that.
Hey, boy,
Won't never admit that. But that's the reality of
Facts,
what
man.
I'm gonna tell you something. For a man to have to go through that kind of emotional abuse, man, and you wonder why. And this is one thing I said to somebody one time. I say, you call a black man a king.
No, you're not.
Do you understand how hard it is to actually please a real king? You seen the movie where they say I'm bored, bring the jester in, he don't make it off with his head. You know what I'm saying? Or he sit down there, throw him to the lions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Matter of fact, let's have a gladiator battle.
you know what I mean? They do that just for entertainment purposes. You know what I mean? So to be able to satisfy a man and say, you my king, that is a hard job to do because if you talk in terms of just manhood, you know what I mean? Like, they think that the women are the emotional ones only because they
show they was.
they speak out emotionally. But if you look at the terms of a man, this is the role of a man. For y'all who listen right now and gotta understand about a man, this is what a man gotta do. And this is all under one brain. I'm gonna break it down for you.
This facts though.
So a man has to be the breadwinner of the house and still has to be equal financially with his spouse. He has to be the most aggressive person to protect the family, but then one a man with sensitivity at the same time. He has to be the leader, which means he has to appear to know everything, but he still has to yield to his wife's ability to have an opinion and listen to her as well. He has to be the smartest person and the dumbest person at the same time. Cause how your kids gonna teach you something if you know everything? Dad, let me show you this. I already know it. Well, you can't. All right, go ahead.
Well, my dad make me feel special now.
So understand all of those emotions wrapped up in one, and have to be able to switch gears at the drop of a dime. He gotta go to work in the morning, deal with his boss. He gotta deal with his co-workers. He gotta deal with the world, the police, the social media. Then he gotta come home and deal with a wife and kids. And if he comes home anything less than what they expect him, he ain't it.
It's rough.
Which brings me to my next point. He ain't it. He made $20,000 last year.
Transition. Oh my
Look,
God.
he made $20,000 last year dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement. He got a raise. Now he made $50,000 this year, but he still falls short because of his income, and that's a $30,000 jump from one year to the next. Why is he still discounted?
Of course, we gonna say we don't know because it doesn't. It logically doesn't make sense.
Do the math. $50,000 a year equals about what?
$5,000 a month.
5 bones, 5 bands a month. You know, people ain't living off of that kind of money. They living off of less than 5 bands.
Hold on, wait. I'm gonna use myself as an example. Before I actually got employed to this man, I had to make a living off of $15K a month, and I lived it comfortably with a $900 rent. Come on. I made $15K a year. I'm sorry, not a month. I made $15K a year before I made a transformation, and then I had to pay $900 rent for a house. I had to make sure the lights was on for a house. I had to make sure I had a car to get to work because I worked about 45 minutes away. And I lived comfortably. Not one day did I go hungry. Not one day did I have to sleep in the cold. Not one day did I have to worry about my car being repoed. And not one day did I have to worry about my woman not eating. But I'm still labeled a failure, even though I'm making this happen.
And this is from what?
I went from 15K.
No, I'm saying like, what's the platform that the research that says?
Oh, I did this from YouTube, CNN, NBC, ABC, New York Times Post, LA Times. I'm not just speaking nonsense. Like
So they said that $50,000 a year is still considered a failure in a man in America.
And then in the black community specifically, you have to make at least 6 figures to be a desirable person.
So here's my thing. If the man's accountability is 6 figures, then what's the woman's accountability?
Be a woman.
Because the woman want to be equal rights to a man, right?
Facts.
So what's your income level if you want to be equal? What's your income level? Because if you come into the table with 25 grand a year and he's making 6 figures, financially you are equally yoked. He could always have the upper hand. He could always have the final say so because he make more money. So what are you doing to elevate your income to
And
match
this is
his?
the thing, bro. That's why I know the statement that we grew up with, women are from Venus, men are from Mars. It's a true statement. It is. It's a true statement.
I don't know what planet they from, but they. I don't know what planet they from, but God dog it.
And the only reason why I say that is because the H word that people look so down on, men are okay with it. And the H word I'm talking about is hypergamy, where a person is supposed to, the opposite person wants their significant other to do extremely more than what they do. I don't see that as a problem. I don't see that as a problem because as a man, that's what I was built to do. I was built to provide, protect, and establish a stable household. That's fine. However, the downside of that mindset is I'm not supposed to do a dang on thing, but look pretty and die. That's the downfall of it. That's the downfall of it. I don't mind it, but it has to. You can be equally low yoked when somebody is doing more. Money isn't the money isn't the only thing that contributes to a table.
Yes.
It's not. Honestly, if a decent man, because we're not talking about Ray J from down the street, we're not talking about Pookie from around the corner. We're talking about well-minded. We're talking about well-minded individuals. So if you have a well-minded individual, he already knows what he has to do. All he's asking for you to do is make sure I can breathe when I get home.
Yeah. And breathe mean that, the dishes are clean, the house is clean, everything is done, dinner's cooked, dinner's ready.
Without stress from the day.
Exactly. That's all I'm gonna do.
And not deal with no stress when you come home.
I'm not trying to argue with you after I got done arguing with the world, bro. I'm not. We got people of color got 3 strikes against them as soon as they walk out the door. The fact that they woke up, the fact that they gotta go in the public,
And return home.
and the fact that they gotta return, that's 3 strikes, not even including the fact that you gotta deal with any and every single last person who has a predetermined opinion about you because you're a person of color and you're a man. That's an absolute fact.
Man.
That's an absolute
Look,
fact.
this is some good conversation. If y'all
Like the video, go ahead and subscribe.
look, we deep in the lion's den, brother. And look, this is real, man. This is the kind of environment that it takes to really understand the mind of a man. And not just a black man. We got Caleb here.
He in the background, but I know he got a opinion.
He's in the background. He got a he's looking and he's listening and shaking his head because he knows that this is a universal struggle. Being a man is a universal struggle. Like you have to deal with so much. and then you gotta please your household. And when is enough enough?
It's not enough. You got to do more.
It's
not enough. You got to.
The average man in America dies 10 years before his spouse. The average man dies 10 years. There's a wonder why a man dates a younger woman and marries a younger woman that's at least 10 years younger than him, because he's gonna die.
But the thing is, we know that. That's the sad part. And that's why I say that's why I say being different is a factual statement. Men go into a situation with a woman, wife, even in the world, knowing for the fact, I already got something against me. I know I have to make this happen. Otherwise, ain't nobody gonna look at me.
Let me ask you this though, TJ.
What's up, man?
With the 50,000 still being considered a failure, what other attributes would it take for that same 50? Because if you make 50 grand a year, but all your bills are paid up and you got a business, like, is that not considered success?
No, because I haven't seen. Ooh, I was watching the podcast. No Jumper. I really want you to listen to it. I want both of y'all. I want all of us to listen to it at a point in time and react to it and have a conversation off of it. I forgot immediate gratification. That's the word. That's the statement. Immediate gratification. We get on YouTube or we get on Twitch. We get on Instagram, Facebook. We see something. We hit a button and immediately we got our result. We see something that we want to buy. We hit a button. We immediately get a result. I feel like this society has now gotten comfortable with, and this is men and women in general, we've gotten comfortable with expecting something immediately after you either ask for it, put in the work for it, or make a request for it. Rather than the time, which is the most expensive thing in the world, rather than waiting for the right time for it to come into fruition. That's I genuinely feel that a lot of humans want, as soon as I do something, matter of fact, as soon as I make an investment, I better see a 300% return on it because I spent my money on it. Today. I spent my money on it today, I want to see my return today.
Well,
It's not reality.
no, you're right. Say it again, bro.
It's not reality.
I agree.
You gotta put work in, time into it.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing that's going to give you the dividends that you want is time itself. You can't demand something. Time, of course we know time waits for no man. But I also feel like time ain't on nobody else's time besides time itself. And I say that to say it. The only thing that really comes about after you put in the work is you waiting for that time to resolve of that work. That's just.
And I actually, like what you just said too, like I play in stocks for a week.
Mhm.
And I play with penny stocks. Penny stocks.
Yes, sir. I do as well.
Penny stocks are more of kind of like instant gratification, but
Mhm.
you make more out of long-term stocks.
Yes, sir. Long-term investments.
So,
Absolutely.
That's actually what I get into. Like, if you don't really got the time to sit there and monitor all the time with penny stocks, might as well not even get into it.
Or even if you ain't even got time to
So
monitor the chart.
what's the best stocks to do if you ain't got a whole lot of time and you just want to just invest in something?
Honestly, to me, it's getting something like S&P 500, something like that.
Mhm.
Because you don't have to do anything.
You familiar with that?
Yeah. Yup.
They're gonna move the stocks for you. They're gonna move them into what's making money, and they're gonna take out when they need to take out and put in what they need to put in.
And in terms of making a physical investment, I would personally say Amazon. I would also say Walmart. I would say even and now that they allow you to buy partial stocks, you are able to build up. Even though you're not gonna, but the thing is, you're not gonna. A lot of people are not gonna do it because they're not gonna see that immediate penny stock return. Like I play with. I played in HFX, which is like high frequency exchange. So you'll make a bid on whether a chart will go up or down within the next couple minutes or so. And if it does go up on your prediction, you'll make a certain amount of money, or you'll lose it if it
I know
doesn't.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So I did that. So if you do that, you're looking for that immediate gratification. And honestly, I don't like playing with my money anymore. I had to learn it the hard way, but I don't like playing with my money. If I'm putting my money in a specific position, if I got it, there is no reason why I'm going to deal with a maybe rather than a guarantee.
Yeah. Wow. So what's your advice on the actual best like investments as far as cryptocurrency right now? What's your go-to?
With me, I was actually playing with Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Ethereum? Was it
Ethereum.
Ethereum?
Yeah.
Ethereum.
They're both based off like a what's it called, like a blockchain.
Yes, sir.
Systems.
Yep.
So I was in both of them like for a while, and I was playing with them, and like they were steadily building. They're kind of slowed down, but they got their times. Like they slow down, they'll start paying again. It's back and forth.
This man
You gotta
knows.
understand
This
the
man
market
knows.
and how
This man
everything's
knows.
going to actually play with it. Like, and then too, another smart thing like I did for like financial classes when I was in the Marines. That's why I started everything, because I learned from financial classes in the Marines.
Yeah.
Certain stocks, when they go low, you buy into it. When they get high, that's when you sell it. But like a lot of people, they'll see the stocks dying, they want to sell it, they're losing money.
Yep.
So you never sell when you lose money. You have to wait for it to come back up again before you sell.
Right. So like, say if you make an investment for $100, right? You make an investment when it's at like the $100 mark, and then it starts to drop down because that's the highest it's been in 2 weeks.
It goes off kind of too, like whatever's going on in life,
Mhm.
it's got a lot to do with what's going on with stuff.
Yeah. So being in that field takes a lot of time. And I wasn't even talking to Caleb about it, but I mentioned it to him. That's why I want to do it, but I know personally, me trying to work 3 jobs and deal with stocks, or me trying to even
You got
have
3 jobs?
Yeah, I got 3 jobs.
What's the third?
The third one is doing reviews of music, actually submitting the lyrics for the music, giving an opinion and taking a breakdown of the bars in the music, on Genius.com.
God damn, son, I ain't know you was doing all that.
Yeah, man. That's why I said
This my guy right here. This my guy.
when I said when it comes to execute, that's why I made too many mistakes. Trust me, I've been the soft-spoken nerd. I've been the shove in the closet nerd. I've been the cool nerd that hung out with everybody else because I learned my differences. I've been the person who said he's going to promise and achieve so much and then didn't do anything besides learn how to tie my shoes because I put too much ahead of me before I looked at what was behind me or currently immediately in front of me. I didn't seen it all and done it all in terms of execution and not owning up to what you say you're going to do.
And look, I love this guy right here, man. Y'all don't know this guy.
And I'm even in the relationships or whatever, even with that, like I'll take my accountability. I effed up and I ain't it at times. I know that. But if you know that, you have to do better.
He got some knowledge. I think he younger than I am.
Yeah, hey, he a whole lot younger than you are. Like when I first met this guy, man, this guy was a totally different dude from when I first met him. And it's taken him whatever time he done seen me in my aspect and seen, listen to his dad and everything, and this is the guy I can tell you that has done a 180. 180 switch from when I first met him to what he is now. 180.
Prime example. What's the first thing I told you when I don't care about how much money I make. I don't care if I get $1 million. I don't care if I get 100,000. I don't care about all of that. All I care about is to make sure I got a wife. Nigga, how you gonna have a wife if you ain't got no bread? How you gonna have a family if you don't even know how to take care of your finances? How you gonna
Even after you take care of it, you still gotta be able to, like if you've been bullied all your life,
You gotta-
a woman to come in and she'll bully you.
How your woman gonna respect you when you ain't standing on your own 10 toes?
Hey, what you saying that? I'm gonna ask both of y'all a question right here.
What's up?
All right, what do y'all think about like? All right, now, it's something with the newer generation or whatever. We think about men living with their woman, living off their woman.
See, I'm from an older generation. I'm from an older, like, I'm in the cusp. I'm in between. And my dad told me, you shouldn't care whatever your woman makes to make sure that you're good as a man. He said the same thing, to make sure you're good as a man. You have to make sure you provide. Don't care what nobody say. I don't care. Words, and I quote, I don't care what none of them jokers say. If you got your bread and you got your mind on right, they can't say nothing about you.
Can't. You can't.
And that's how I feel.
But here's the flip side to that coin, though. A great leader knows how to delegate authority. One of the coldest dudes that ever walked the face of the earth is a pimp.
Facts.
Because he will make a woman take her prized possession and sell it for a high value, and then she brings him the money. And he's not responsible for how she get it. She just brings it back to him. So being a man is more than just being a breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's being a leader to know that even if I can't do my job as a man, you still gotta respect me because I ain't the god doggone. I'm the done daughter. You know what I mean?
What about the newer generation? Like this newer generation.
The newer generation, if you don't,
you got guys standing in the house when they're playing video games
and that's right there. I despise that at all costs, man.
If you're not making bread from it, like legitimate bread to keep your household stable, it's not a part of it.
If you handicapped, then you have to depend on your woman. If you got 2 legs, 2 hands, the eyes, if you just lazy playing a goddamn game, don't even ask woman for no sex, none of that. You deserve none of that. The Bible says a man don't work or eat. If a man don't work, he don't even get no sex.
That's a part of eating, because I'm hungry.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a
So
part of
if
eating.
you just playing a game and you ain't trying to contribute, then don't even ask
Like I said, I've personally seen people who actually do sit on their computer, play the game for about 24, 72 hours straight. But I guarantee you, when you look at their portfolio, because it's up in public, they're making 60, 70, 80K every single day playing that game.
Now
That's work though. That's not.
That's the difference.
That's the part where I have to say,
understand the difference.
look,
Yeah.
the society has been shaped to where, and I'm gonna say this with all confidence because I've been through all this. It is almost darn near impossible for you to be broke in this society when you can get paid. If you're gonna be a gamer, at least get paid to do it. That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna be a gigolo, get paid to do that.
Hold on, wait, what's crazy?
If you're gonna be a goddamn whatever you gotta do, this man right here, he has a business of taking care of dogs, dog sitting. People pay you to sit their dogs. People pay you to wash their car, wash their house, babysit, clean the house, cut the grass. I mean everything. So if all these ways society has gotten so lazy to where they will actually pay you to bring them more food to eat.
Hold on, wait.
Society
Society has gotten so lazy. Society has
Uber
gotten...
Eats. So for you to say I'm broke, I ain't got a job,
I don't know how to make no money.
something is wrong with you because they paying you to do stupid stuff that you didn't make. Come on, man. How can you be broke?
I'm about to go even further than that, bro. Look. They have companies that pay you to send emails. They got companies that pay you to send text messages. Bruh, there is no reason.
So there's no reason. All the excuses has been gone, man, because they paying you to do. They're paying you to do almost any and everything.
They pay you to watch. They pay you to watch videos. Do you not understand? They pay you to sit on your couch, do whatever you do in your spare time, drink, smoke, walk. They pay you to sit there, watch a video, and give a 150 to 350 character explanation of that video in your opinion.
And you ain't got money. You ain't got money because of what?
Back in the 90s, I can understand you ain't got no money. But now, no. Hold on, wait. You can even make money being in a digital world. You can literally make the
Oh,
metaverse.
man.
You can make that
People wanted to do art and they ain't selling it for
NFTs. Yes, sir.
They got
Yes,
a
sir.
whole nother. I'm looking over. They got a whole nother world
Metaverse.
of digital where you can buy.
You can buy
Buy real estate in a digital freaking
and
world.
transfer it to where you standing at. There is no excuse. The only excuse you got, I'm lazy. I just don't feel like doing it. And I'm sorry, I can't be it all my life. Because as a person of color, you were told you ain't it, you ain't gonna be it, you will grow up to never be nothing, and this world got something against you.
It's crazy.
Period, point blank.
But these millennials though,
The older
they got a bunch of excuses about how they can't make it, how the white man holding them down.
If they ain't making, I don't know what's going on.
The white man holding you. Hold on, wait. 90% of the time you in a house now. How you holding you down? Somebody gotta physically be there. You gotta physically interact with humans in order for somebody to hold you down. You ain't interacting with nobody besides the people on the internet.
Repeating something they heard from their grandparents or something. They just trying to use it for
But,
excuse.
and you know what's crazy? That same excuse can be used to get yourself paid by repeating it over and over again in a video. Because people believe into that nonsensical statement. Like, it's no excuse, dog. It's no excuse. I think that execution, bro, it all falls into it.
Execution, baby.
Oh my goodness,
Saying
man.
something and not following through with it.
Honestly, let me ask y'all this. As a man, when you say something, and regardless of whether the powers may be make that thing not happen, how do you feel when it's not done?
Man, look, I'm the biggest critic of myself, bro. If I say something and can't hold up for it, I am the big. You ain't got to tell me how this one is. My dad ain't got to tell me how this one is with me, because I know that I'm disappointed in myself.
That's me all day.
Yes, sir.
Because I got the ability, man, to do so many things. Like, when somebody, it was like, it might have been 2010, 2011. I'm sitting in my living room talking to an insurance agent. And she asking me, how much are you worth to your family? At the time, I might have been 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I say, well, I'm worth over $1 million. Because I have $1 million ideas in my mind that haven't even been born yet. So if you want me to put a price tag on my life, you gotta go above $1 million, million plus.
Then 6 years later, look at you.
So what I'm saying is, like,
Hey, man.
you have to know. You have to be able to follow through for your execution.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be saying stuff if you don't do it. I mean, I can literally say that 85% of what I wrote down came to pass. Like on my New Year's resolution,
Mm-hmm.
writing it down, and I hold myself accountable.
That make a big difference when you write it down. You actually.
Yes,
You
sir.
gotta make yourself accountable, bro. Because I can tell this man something all day. And he can be like, "What, man, Daniel he didn't follow through." And I can be like, "Oh, man, whatever." But if it don't mean nothing to me, if I didn't make that for myself, be like, "Man, I just told you to do something I can't do. I can't do this what I act." But then you gotta understand that, is it because I just was lazy and didn't do it, or is it because something that's out of my control happened, and I definitely tried to do it. I attempted to do it, but it wasn't. So that's what you gotta be really concerned with when you start giving people your word. Cause
Yeah, so yeah, at that point, if you really want to go through the execution, then you got to sit down and think about what went wrong, try to.
Ooh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Analyze it. And this is a takeaway I want people to know. When you make a decision and you execute it, even if it is successful or unsuccessful, analyze it. Analyze it, because I guarantee you, if it's successful, you'll be like, oh, if I could have did this instead of doing this way, I would have been able to make it happen in a shorter time. I would have been able to make it. Matter of fact, I would have been able to do more if I would have did this way. So the next time I have it, or the next time a conversation comes, I have a new approach, and I know for a fact the previous result already showed me what I can get. Implicating it this way, let me give me a better result than I ever imagined.
Wow. And this is coming from a millennial slash.
Hey man, I'm 91. I'm 91. Look,
Because his mom and dad are what I consider to be unicorns in this world.
Yes,
They are
I agree.
exceptional to the rule of marriage. They are exceptional to the rule of, raising a house full of boys and one girl. So his opinions come from two sides. They come from the millennials, because he is a millennial, but he has the spirit of somebody from the old school.
But
Because he
remember-
was raised old school.
remember when I didn't even live with my parents until I was 6.
See, there you go.
I was raised with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my great grandmother. From the time I popped out to me going into 2nd grade, I legitimately lived with them.
Wow.
It's a complete, and the thing is I do appreciate both my mom and my pops doing that, because it gave me a different insight. And them being 17 and 19, niggas didn't know what they was doing. But the thing I love is they held themselves accountable and said, we don't know what the H we doing. We about to get ourselves somewhat stable. While we popping out these babies, hold them, and then we gonna grab them. And as soon as my my brother Anthony was born, which is the 4th one, they grabbed all of us and we started living in the house. Execution. I've been born from execution. It took me a hard time it took me the hard way to learn it, but I feel like execution is besides execution is more important than your word, to be honest. Because your word don't mean crap if you never did anything behind it.
You gotta execute that word, man.
That's all I say, man.
And that's in life. That's even in the church. You go get a word from the pastor. If you don't execute what he's telling you to do, then you can't blame nobody but yourself, because you the one that has the power of execution. You have to take this thing to the next level. You can get on. I done been to a bunch of seminars, millionaire seminars and business seminars. If I don't take the time to do the practical application and execute what they're saying, then I can't get mad at Sean T if I do this Sunday program and I only last 15 days.
I ain't even give it a full 90 like I'm supposed to.
This don't work. This is a bunch of bull. This man help.
That high interval training ain't nothing. I ain't even, 15 days. And I ain't gonna hold you up for that for day 2.
Nowadays, you be like after day 1. Be like Ricky Bobby, after the day, I get it after the first day, after the first hour, within the first 3 minutes.
I went ahead and man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, brother. It's crazy.
Man.
Oh my goodness. I sit back and I think, man, and I know I sound like I'm old. I know I do. Like I sit back and I think, and this is what I want, what I would like men, especially in the younger generation or adolescent, to sit back and think, what can I do? I said I wanted to do. I had 30 jobs. I had 30 jobs I wanted to do. Throughout my whole life, I knew I wanted to be 30 different things. Which ones can I actually do? And then when you figure out which ones you can actually do, say, well, if I love doing it, how can I implicate it in my day? Every single day, because I love it. Oh, well, for about 5 hours, I ain't got nothing to do. I get off work. I can go ahead, I eat around this time. I can take that time in between to go ahead and do what I love so I can perfect my craft.
Yeah.
The most expensive thing is time.
Yeah, that is expensive.
That joker got no value. I mean, it's priceless. It really is. Time is priceless. You could have $1 billion in the world, but if you died tomorrow, Jeff Bezos. If you could literally have all the money in the world, and you die tomorrow because you ain't use your time the right way. What does it mean? This joker took a trip to the moon. I want that kind. This Joker took a trip to the moon, brother. And then when he came back, he said, you got great ideas. Here's $100 million. Do what you want with it. I want that.
Yeah, man.
But you can't want that if you're not putting work.
And not only that, like I said before, you have to hold your time. You have to be accountable for your time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hold your time to a higher standard. You can't allow people to come in and just waste it. You're never gonna get it back.
Yep.
And people will put the show on, the pony and dance show, and you know they become experts at wasting your time, and then when you get down to it, they ain't even real about it. Playing games with your time.
You can try to get it back, but you definitely won't get it back.
That'll be another waste of time. That'll be a whole nother waste of time.
I try to make back lost time before life, not push myself crazy.
I knew it was pointless, but I was trying to catch up on sleep. How you gonna catch up on something that's already done past you? I want to catch up on this sleep, man. I've been out.
I've been working and moving and grinding.
Man, you ain't gonna never catch up on those dogs sleep. It's like you trying to catch up on time, and you know that time. Once that time has passed you, you ain't getting it back.
All you doing is wasting the time that you currently got for the
Catch
time
up
that
on
you trying to. Man.
That's a loss.
Ooh. That applies to catching the bag or chasing the bag the same way. How you gonna chase it? If you're chasing it, it's never in your grasp.
Chasing the bag.
If you say I'm chasing this bag, I'm chasing this bag, I'm chasing this bag.
Chasing the bag is equivalent to the pursuit of happiness.
If you're not already happy, you're not gonna be happy.
But what is a pursuit, though? Pursuit is a chase. So it didn't say obtaining and enjoy happiness. It says the
Grasping
pursuit of happiness.
So you know what that implies, though? That implies that once you achieve what you said, it's not enough anymore.
It's always going to be another chase.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's always going to be
You
another
got to be
chase.
satisfied with what you have in order to be comfortable. Because other than that, you're going to be always chasing. Now, let me get back to the season and I'm going to get back with you. Let me get through the season and I'll call you back. You always chasing something.
Mm-hmm. Grab it.
Even after you achieve your goals, then what's next?
What's the next chase?
Because once you get there, you have to either be able to maintain where you are, or you have a new goal in mind.
Yes, sir.
And your dreams can become your burdens so fast.
Yep.
Because what is the profit of man to gain the whole world? Lose his soul. When I was a kid, I always wanted that big house and that picket fence and all that good stuff. Once you achieve that, then it's like, what's next? Because I'm here, and I'm not even happy no more because my happiness was in the pursuit. Once I got there, now I'm not happy. I need to try to find some
Another
other
pursuit
to make me happy. So it's always a chase.
Having something to accomplish.
Always a chase.
Hey man, that's why that's why when we went back, words hold weight. Words, I've learned that bad don't mean bad, and bad don't just mean, bad isn't good and bad. Bad could mean bad, and bad could mean good. Bad means bad. Period, point blank. Once you start taking words for definitions and understand the mindset behind those definitions and those words, I promise you it's going to be a completely different outlook. I'm not going to constantly chase something. No, give me it. Give me the bag because I'm grabbing for it because I put it in the work. I'm no longer chasing no bag. I'm grabbing it. I'm taking it. And what do men do? I'm conquering that bag.
So consider the chase
Mm-hmm.
that the richest man in the world and the poorest man in the world are both envious of each other.
Yep.
The richest man saying, if I didn't have all this, I wish things was more simpler in life. I could just not have to worry about all these problems. And he's looking at the poor man and saying, I want to be him. The poor man looking and saying, I want to be him because I got too many problems.
And if I had his money,
It would be better. Having money don't always solve your problem because Biggie Small said, more money, more problems. The more money you make, the more problems you're gonna have. Because before you had money, you didn't have to feed 100 families. Now you got money, you gotta feed 100 families, and not only that, you got to. And it's like when is enough is enough. But when you broke, you like, if I just had the money, I wouldn't have to worry about how I'm gonna eat. But you don't know those problems that come with that money.
mm-hmm.
And you got to understand that happiness comes from within. Some of the rich people in the world are depressed.
Miserable. Holly Berry, one of the most miserable people in the world.
Fine is all outdoors, but can't keep a man and save a life because when he get every man that said the same thing about you. At some point,
Crazy.
you got to evaluate yourself and say, what is it about me that making all these folks uncomfortable because I can't seem to find the right combination.
Hey, look, man. That's why I say you can't pursue happiness. You gotta be, and this is why I love when people from humble beginners make it, because you are already comfortable with the scraps that you was given.
Yes.
You ain't need no more, no less. It would be nice if you had more, so I'm gonna work for more. But where I'm at, I know I can make it happen.
Wow. You have to be comfortable with who you are. What you bring to the table has to be sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
Because depending on somebody else to make you happy, if you ain't happy within yourself, you can be chasing a dream.
Never.
It means something like looking for love in all the wrong places. You know what I mean? So you have to really know who you are.
Yeah, I agree.
And as a black man in America, whether you feel like black men was supposed to be kings or whatever you feel like, if you're not getting that from your inner circle, you ain't gonna get it from outside. There's a fine line between self-confidence and conceited or narcissistic. Somebody accused me of being narcissistic because I said, you know what? I've been abused verbally and emotionally all my life from the opposite sex or from people in my life. So what's wrong with loving yourself? So when I begin to love myself and give myself a couple of kudos, now it appears to be conceited or narcissistic. But what was it when I was being
Salty.
what was it then?
And
What
that's,
was it?
It was being soft, not being comfortable with your own self.
So we live in a society right now that if you don't love on yourself, you can't expect nobody else to do it because everybody else gonna do it for you.
Hey, look, man. The harshest reality of this world is don't nobody love you until you make them love you. The only person that's really gonna love you is your mama and your daddy, maybe. But other than that, like that's what I'm saying. Other than that,
B.B. King said, nobody loved me but my mama, and she could be jiving too. You don't know.
this was said before my time,
You
bro.
know
Like,
what I mean? You don't know who is really loving you and who is really like
said before my
benefiting
time,
from you.
and the fact that these things are being said before we were even. I wasn't alive when B.B. King was alive, but the fact that I can come up with that exact same conclusion, not even having a conversation with this human being, means that it's a fact throughout this world.
Wow.
Because I guarantee you, me, B.B. King ain't the only two human beings who has experienced the exact same thing.
Wow.
Got 7 billion people in the world. Come on now.
7 billion. And it's they say a sucker is born every day. People being born every day. You know what I mean? And whether or not you feel like the pandemic is a population control thing, but people are going to continue to be born. Even in the Bible, they say when they was oppressed, they multiplied. So anytime we being oppressed and we being held down, what do we normally do when we ain't got nothing else to do? What do? Represent.
But
That's
it's
it.
true though, man.
That's
It's true.
it.
Think about how many kids was born back in the 1950s, 1960s when everybody was dealing with oppression. Huh?
Okay, yeah. Well, we about to end the show. This has been a good conversation. I love the vibe. I love the conversations, y'all. Look, go to YouTube, subscribe to Inside the Den. Go to Facebook, Inside the Den, Twitch, Inside the Den. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you all like what you all see, comment in the comment section. Come up with some new topics for us to talk about. All your comments are very accepted. I love them. I love to hear what y'all have to say about it. If you're part of this live podcast or this live this journey, then we definitely appreciate you for stopping in and giving us your time. This has been your boy Daniel Lyons and Evans. As always, we live inside the den. Catch us every Saturday at 4 o'clock at the same time. Might not be in the same location, but we definitely at the same time. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. I want to give a special shout out to my co-host here, Tommy T.J. Hicks, and then Mr. Pat here, born Marine and all that kind of stuff. I definitely enjoyed your company and everything. So you all have a blessed evening. We will see you all soon. And 2022, what you gonna do? This is the year of no excuses. You see y'all on the other side of time. Have a blessed day. Peace.
Wow, 2022, what you gonna do?
Hey, man,
Hey, I'm excited.
Hey,
Stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
I'm a lion and ain't nothing but a anything. We on fire and my brothers, they on fire too. And we'll fight for each other, that's what lions do.
Progression of the team is the purpose of our devotion. You can see that we've been working and really having some motion. None of it was given, you know that we had to hustle. And that's just how it is when you coming about the struggle. They say it takes a village when you raising a child. And they all turn into your family after a while. We gotta feed into each other, show love to one another. Not a race, but I know we can all finish the mile. When we step up in the den, you letting go of your past. You the only person that can really hold yourself back. The pride and strength of a lion is truly your match. Everybody has it when you a part of the pack. Now this ain't the type of place that'll judge you for who you are. We just get you on your way to becoming a superstar. I told you once before and I can tell you again. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just trying to win. What's up?
Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel. Just tell me if it's real. Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Tell me how you feel.
Just tell me if it's real.
Tell me how you feel. Side of the den. One. And
May I introduce myself?